Now at 5, it's election day. We'll look at voter turnout in polling places in Joplin, Pittsburgh, and Miami. Plus,
36 states have governor's races, and nationwide, voters are considering more than 130 ballot measures. I'm Danya Backus in Phoenix with a look at key races and issues.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
on the ballot on this midterm election day, local, state, and federal positions. Statewide issues include a proposal to legalize recreational marijuana in Missouri and a proposal to shift the balance of power between Kansas lawmakers and the governor. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The polls around the area close at 7 tonight. KOAM's Jalen Banks joins us live from St. Paul's Church in Joplin with more.
All right, thank you, Dow. To no surprise, as you can see just over my shoulder, people are showing up and showing out to the polls. Poll workers say here at St. Paul's Church that they have seen high voter turnout more than this year's past. This afternoon, they say at one point there were nearly 700 voters here, which is really high for a midterm election and is approaching presidential election numbers.
So I hope that people will stand up and we can be united and see some changes that'll be more positive than such a negative and hateful filled.
Talk about some of the issues on the ballot and remember, you have until 7 p.m. to get out and vote. And tonight at 6, we'll talk about some of the issues that are on the ballot that motivated people to come out and vote. Reporting live at St. Paul's Church in Joplin, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
Jalen, thanks. In Kansas, voters turned out to decide a Senate race and some constitutional amendments. KOAM's Amber Jenkins joins us live now from Countryside Christian Church in Pittsburgh with more.
Voters are still making their way out to the polls in Pittsburgh. Countryside Christian Church has seen a steady stream of voters since opening the poll doors at 7 a.m. Whether you're the first in line or last, voting usually takes about 20 minutes or less.
Depending on your polling place, if it's a really kind of a busier polling place, it might just take, 20 minutes. It's really not. There's not a lot of waiting in line. Usually before 8 o'clock, so from 7 when it opens to 8 o'clock, it's kind of the busiest time, but anytime after that, it usually slows down a little bit.
Poll workers want voters to be in and out in a timely fashion.
All right, Amber Jenkins reporting live in Pittsburgh. Thanks, Amber. Voters in Oklahoma are coming out in droves to elect their next governor and senators. Oklahoma has 2 open Senate seats. One seat's term is expired. The other was occupied by Jim Inhofe, who is retiring, putting it up for a special election. Before we get to other election news, let's check in with Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, we had a lot of clouds for us today, and we even got some random scattered showers out there, especially on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. But temperatures have been fairly mild all the way up to 70 in Carthage. We have 71 in Neosho, 72 in Anderson. So at least mid to upper 60s to lower 70s, and we're just not going to drop off through the evening and the overnight hours, but still a lot of clouds. I've had a lot of people ask about the lunar eclipse tonight, and we're going to have a lot of clouds, so it's going to be hard to see. But all the showers are pretty much heading toward the north, and we're going to dry out just a bit as we go through about the next day or so before our next storm system. But look at our temps, pretty steady through the evening hours. A lot of clouds, overnight low only down to 61. Thunderstorm chances Thursday. We'll look at that here in a bit.
See you then. It's not only the 4 states heading to the polls today, of course. Voters across our country are casting their ballots in races that could change the balance of power in Congress. Dozens of House seats are considered competitive, with a number of Democrats vulnerable in swing districts nationwide. And the final CBS News Battleground Tracker shows 6 Senate races are toss-ups. 36 states have governor's races on the ballot this election day, and the new state leadership is poised to have a major impact on the next presidential election, as well as several of the issues close to home for the tens of millions who've already voted. Danya Backus reports from Phoenix, Arizona on some of the key state races.
Democratic gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke made a last-minute pitch to voters in Texas on the final day of midterm elections.
Are you all ready to win.
O'Rourke is looking to deny Republican Governor Greg Abbott a third term with the backing of younger voters.
It feels very stagnant and it feels kind of scary, under the current administration.
In New York,
It should be no mystery as to why we're going to win this race today.
the governor's race between Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin and Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul has tightened in the home stretch.
And I'm proud to represent this state and will continue doing so after this election.
The governor's race in Arizona has been one of the nation's most closely watched. Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs is facing Republican Kari Lake, a former TV anchor backed by former President Donald Trump.
We're going to fix it. We're going to win.
Every single eligible voter can be confident that their vote is going to count.
Voters here in Maricopa County experienced some hiccups at the ballot box Tuesday. Election officials say 20% of the 223 polling locations experienced issues with tabulators.
They said they'll take care of it, but it just kind of gives you a
little bit of
a feeling of, okay, did it work?
Machine things happen, but they had an alternative where you could just slide it right into the same box.
Georgia's contest between Governor Brian Kemp and Democratic challenger Stacey Abrams could be one for the history books. Abrams would become the state's first black governor and the first black woman governor in the U.S. if she wins the race. Danya Backus, CBS News, Phoenix, Arizona.
Across the country, voters are also considering more than 130 ballot measures from gun rights to abortion. Still ahead, trying to train more veterinarians.
More pets, but fewer vets. I'm Michael George with how future veterinarians are training to fill a nationwide shortage.
And next in Health Watch, efforts to raise awareness of the diabetes epidemic in the U.S. Topping today's Health Watch, a hormone which develops in puberty could predict a man's health as he ages. According to British researchers, the hormone INSL3 can identify illnesses a man's likely to develop, like bone weakness, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Doctors believe this hormone discovery can lead to early intervention and disease prevention. November is American Diabetes Month, raising awareness about the diabetes epidemic and the millions of people at risk for that disease. Elise Preston has more.
The number of adults with diabetes in the U.S. has more than doubled in the last 20 years. According to the CDC, about 37 million people have diabetes. 8.5 million are undiagnosed. 96 million adults have prediabetes. A 2021 study shows up to half of new diabetes cases in the U.S. are linked to obesity. Managing the disease is critical, as people with diabetes are twice as likely to have heart disease or stroke. Diabetes can also lead to health complications, such as chronic kidney disease, nerve damage, and problems with feet, oral health, vision, hearing, as well as mental health issues. But the CDC says patients can prevent or delay these complications and improve overall health by eating right, maintaining a healthy weight, staying active, and managing stress. When lifestyle changes are not enough to bring glucose levels to normal, medication may be necessary. Most people with diabetes have type 2. Type 1 diabetes is usually diagnosed in children and young adults. Gestational diabetes develops in pregnant women who have never had the disease. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Diabetes is the 7th leading cause of death in the United States. Medications that manage cholesterol and type 2 diabetes may lower the risk of degenerative eye disease. The disease, known as AMD, impacts a person's central vision or their ability to see fine details. Doctors aren't sure how to best prevent or slow its progression, but say patients regularly using certain cholesterol and diabetes drugs saw about a 20% drop in their risk of developing that eye disease. There's a push for tighter regulations around baby formula advertising after research linked marketing to parents feeding their babies unhealthy food. Research in BMJ Global Health shows that mothers who see extensive digital marketing for formula and processed baby food are more likely to not exclusively breastfeed babies for the first 6 months. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, how the IRS is letting people put more money toward their spending accounts.
Plus, we got more showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be another mild day for us today, but a lot of clouds. We've had some light showers kind of in and out of the region throughout the morning into the early afternoon, and still a lot of clouds out there right now, which you can see on our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Indigo is just outside, just on the west side of Seneca, Missouri. We do continue to see these clouds. We will continue to see these clouds throughout the evening hours, but any showers we had earlier, these are racing off toward the north and really kind of falling apart. So rain-wise, we're going to stay dry as we go through the rest of the evening. But temperatures, not too bad. 69 Anderson, 64 in Nevada, 64 in Pittsburgh. We have Chetopa checking in at about 66 degrees. Not sure where my tower cam went, but through the evening hours, we'll drop back through the 60s, but that's it. We're going to hang at about 61, just a lot of clouds throughout the overnight hours for us tonight. And you can see all the clouds out across Kansas, Oklahoma, and parts of Texas. So that means mostly cloudy tonight, mostly cloudy tomorrow, ahead of our next storm system, which will roll in by the time we head into Thursday. We have Nicole, which is spinning off the east coast of Florida, and this is actually going to track across Florida, and then it fits right with the part of the pattern that Hurricane Ian was about 45 days ago. Back to our north and to our west, here's our next storm system that will start to affect us as we go into Thursday. So let's step through time. A lot of clouds tonight. Lower 60s by the time we hit the morning hours. We will see a little bit of sunshine tomorrow, not a ton. We're going to warm into the mid-70s by noon, and there's a very slight chance, especially on the Missouri side, there could be a random shower during the afternoon. We go into the upper 70s for highs. Tomorrow night, clouds continue to thicken up. Once again, we only drop back mid-60s. So here's Thursday morning. As we go through the morning hours, look at the scattered showers and thunderstorms on the Kansas side. So here's the noon hour. And some of these in our northern counties could be a little bit on the stronger side. Showers, thunderstorms continue to develop. Here's mid-afternoon, now advancing farther south and east. As we get into Thursday evening, showers, thunderstorms across the region, and then periods of showers, even a few thunderstorms as we go into Thursday night, into Friday morning, and then most of this will exit. There could be a few flakes of snow that actually mix in as we go into Friday morning, especially along and south of I-44. So it's going to turn quite a bit cooler. All right, a lot of clouds tomorrow, but warm. We warm all the way up into the upper 70s for highs. Rainfall amounts with this next system, this is an estimate, but a lot of areas could pick up a ½ inch to an inch, which is something that we still need. And then thunderstorm threat, very low severe threat in our northern counties. Most of us, I don't think this is going to be a big deal, mainly from late morning into the middle of the afternoon. Most of us are just going to have regular old thunderstorms. 78 tomorrow, 74 on Thursday, showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. Then look at this. High of only 45 Friday, down to 24 Saturday morning, only 42 Saturday, 23 Sunday morning, and then a few random showers, maybe a flake of snow early next week.
That is cold. That's more than chilly. That's downright cold this weekend.
It's a big switch.
Thanks, Doug. Hey, giant rats wearing tiny high-tech backpacks are being trained to help with search and rescue operations in disaster zones. A Belgium-based nonprofit group is putting rodents through their paces in mock catastrophes, teaching them to locate potential victims. Researchers say the size, great sense of smell, and natural agility of rats helps them squeeze into small spaces, allowing them to reach people caught in tragedies like earthquakes. Coming up, trying to fill the nationwide veterinarian shortage. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Tonight, we honor Army Private First Class Christopher Irway. Irway started serving in 2003 and continues to serve. We're proud to salute Christopher Irway, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, as millions of working Americans are making their selections for open enrollment this fall, changes from the IRS now allow them to sock more money away in their flexible spending and health savings accounts next year. In 2023, employees can save as much as $3,050 in their FSA. That's a 7% increase, while the limit on the amount workers can put into their HSA will go up as much as 6.2%. U.S. gas prices are inching upward. The average price for a gallon of self-serve regular $3.80. That's according to AAA. Officials there say that's about a 4-cent hike from last week and roughly 38 cents more than this time last year. Analysts say one reason for the recent increase in costs comes from the oil market, where a barrel of crude is once again more than $90. More American households have pets than children, and veterinarians are working harder than ever to keep up with the growing demand. But a nationwide shortage that worsened during the pandemic means longer waits for appointment times and more stress on vets currently in the workforce. Reporter Michael George takes a look at the problem and how one school in Brookville, New York is training up the next generation to help fill the gap.
Dr. Jackie Cuskar is happy with her current job. She performs spay-neuter surgeries at the Animal Protective Foundation in upstate New York and treats animals at its shelter.
The fact that I can feel like I'm truly helping animals every single day, it makes me really happy.
She left general veterinary practice in 2019, feeling overworked and overwhelmed, trying to squeeze in as many patients as possible.
I was very burned out at that point. I really needed to get away from that environment.
An American Veterinary Medical Association survey from 2021 showed 44% of veterinarians have at some point considered leaving the profession, and about 26% indicated they want to work fewer hours, citing work-life balance, stress, anxiety, and burnout. This comes as the need for veterinarians is rising. A report says by 2030, the U.S. will need nearly 41,000 additional vets to care for America's pets.
We need to figure out a way to make it more sustainable.
Here at Long Island University, they're expanding the veterinary school to train more vets to meet the growing demand.
Now pull with even tension.
The College of Veterinary Medicine opened during the pandemic and will graduate its first class in 2024. Dr. Carmen Fuente-Alba is the dean. Because we have this shortage now, are there a lot of job opportunities for your students?
Absolutely, many jobs opportunities. Many of the students are already having conversations.
Students say they're being prepared for the rigors of the profession, and the shortage gives them leverage.
To show that what we're learning and the degrees that we have are actually worth what we should be compensated and how we should be treated in the industry.
Some corporate practices recently started offering signing bonuses as high as $100,000 to attract vets to the job. Michael George, CBS News.
Earlier this year, 24 leaders called on the AVMA to support an increase in veterinary college class sizes and additional programs to help alleviate what they call an acute and growing workforce crisis. The industry will also need 133,000 credentialed vet techs, and advocates suggest empowering those technicians to work at the top of their license to help reduce some of the pressure on doctors. We have a winner for the record $2.04 billion Powerball jackpot. And unless you just got back from California, it is not you. After more than 3 months of the jackpot rising, the winning ticket was sold in Southern California. The winning numbers were selected this morning after nearly 10 hours later than the scheduled drawing last night because of problems processing sales data from one of the game's member lotteries. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, more on the House and Senate races up for grabs all across the country. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to break down some of the issues voters across the 4 states are deciding today. Plus, the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons look to the sectional title this Friday against Mill Valley. We're going to hear from the team in sports. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. No longer on daylight savings time. The sun getting pretty low in the sky already, Doug.
It is. It gets dark early now, and it kind of stinks. But at least temperature is pretty good. We're going to hold into the 60s tonight. 78 tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Very slight chance for a random shower. Very quick one tomorrow afternoon. But showers, thunderstorms increase on Thursday. Some of these could be a little bit stronger. And then tremendously cooler as we go into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, especially those overnight lows back in the mid-low 20s. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And, of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.